This is my installation of the INNOVV K2 on a 2010 Honda ST1300. While the bike's not back together and I haven't completely checked the system, this is how I installed. This is the DVR that's in the tail section, and then that's my FZ1 fuse block. And on the back of the fuse block, I mounted the power supply for the camera system, and then I was able to just loop the wire around front and connect it into the fuse block for power. And then I have tapped into the switched wire in the tail as well to one of my turn signals. I added some wire to have running lights in the back, so my extra wire goes from my turn signal to my brake light, which turns my turn signal into a running light. So I tapped into that auxiliary wire so I wouldn't have to damage the current or the stock wire. And then this is where I mounted the rear camera. The bolts for my trunk deck are long enough that they stick down, what is that, maybe half an inch. So I was able to mount the L bracket that came with the camera, and then I had some extra hardware sitting around that I was able to use to mount to that bracket, so that I was able to use a lock washer and an additional washer. That way I don't have to worry about it coming loose. And then over on the left side of the bike, I mounted the GPS connection. I took the tail apart, I pulled the grab rail off, opened up the rear housing so I could slip the wire through for the GPS because it's a much smaller diameter than the camera wire. For the camera wire, I drilled a hole. I don't know if that's going to show. Doesn't look like it because it's black. I'll put my finger behind it, I think. I can find it without. There we go. It's not really showing up too well. You can see it there, I guess. So I drilled a hole there to slide this rubber grommet in, which I cut, and then I'm able to slide my wire for the camera into the grommet, and once the seat goes on, this will all be covered up and out of sight, and it protects my wire. So then there are obviously two cameras, so one's the rear, one's the front, and then you have power and GPS. And so I ran the front camera along the rail, goes under the seat, comes through here where you can see this accordion sheathing, runs along here up front, and then I'm using one of the mounting holes for the front cowl to mount the front camera. I have downloaded the app, but I haven't actually synced up the camera system yet because I have the battery out. I'm doing some extended maintenance. I'm also installing these lights. I have some other lights that I may install as well down on the fork. I have the police mod switch as well, which required changing out my handlebars, which also required changing out the throttle cables. I had a coolant leak that had to work, so that is part of what is going on with the bike. I'm almost back together, and I will hopefully be back on my bike commuting this next week. Anyway, hope this helps you out. For those of you that might install on a ST1300 or something similar.